Actually, I think it's good. I'm just gonna go. You ready?
Let's go. Tell me when. Good evening, all. Gary Gabagool here, my boy Sal. We're coming into Queen. Another one bites the dust, which is indicative of another year gone by. Happy New Year to all of you. 2018. Sal and I decided to kind of chill out this week with New Year's and the craziness. I was gone for a couple days. Sal had some stuff going on. Yeah. We had the crazy weather, so
it was a nice little break, though.
It was a nice little break.
Glad to be back with you guys.
But I gotta tell you, even though it's a new year and everybody has their resolution starting fresh, it's a new year, but the same old lies, same old corruption, same old thievery, and the same old left being exposed. This was a crazy ass week where Julian Assange and Wiki just dropped a bomb of emails that just exposed, and not just one thing. He just exposed so many. It would be like someone throwing, he didn't shoot a sniper rifle, which hit one person. He didn't shoot a handgun. This guy shot a buckshot rifle, which went all over the place. This guy exposed 4 or 5 different arms of the Democratic Party. And of course, it all comes back to hitting Hillary and Obama. And I tell you what, we all knew Hillary was dirty. We also knew Obama was, but these emails that he exposed Obama made him look just as bad, or I shouldn't say worse, but just as bad as Hillary on a lot of these things he did.
Like a lot of this stuff too. To me now, it seems like just the Democrats are trying to push out the Clintons, and they're trying to replace the Clintons with the Obamas.
Yeah, they think that it's like a chess game. They're just gonna
feel like there's a huge power struggle going on behind the scenes.
Maybe.
And, I don't know. I don't want to say maybe. I think there is, and it's just like they're trying to like battle it out. I don't know. I feel like one of these people is going to end up on the wrong end of a suicide.
Wouldn't be a bad thing.
No, it wouldn't. I'm just saying that's how deep it goes, the power struggle.
You know what? The only thing I think, and we know this from history, is that Hillary has over the Obamas is that woman is just, and you get, people, I hate her guts.
She's a cold-blooded reptile.
I dislike her intensely. I talk about her when we were on the the campaign trail going up to the presidential, presidential race. I shit on her every day, but she does something that's pretty unbelievable. She raises money like nobody's business. Obama can't even raise money like her, and she has no problem going about asking people directly, which in itself is a corrupt and shitty thing because she's quid pro quo.
It's called pay for play.
That's what she does. But nobody can raise money like her. Matter of fact, if we remember a couple of podcasts ago, Sal and I discussed Obama bankrupted the DNC, and then
she funded
it to come back and help him. And so
that's why she got the nomination. That's why Bernie got screwed over.
Exactly.
And I actually heard some liberal people talking about that. Remember how we were always like, if you're a liberal voting guy and you're voting for Bernie, how the fuck could you have voted for Hillary afterwards? And I heard someone explain it.
I want to hear this. Tell me what this.
This is how. Oh, Squish was in the basement.
Yeah.
Anyway,
you're Squishy.
Squishy, the cat's out.
Yeah.
Anyway, they said that Obama, or I'm sorry,
Bernie, how they can vote for Hillary?
They're like, they blame Trump for that. This is where it comes down to.
As Sal's talking, eye roll.
Yeah, it's just like straight up. When I heard that, they're like, they're so brainwashed by the media or whatever source they're listening to that Trump is bad. They know nothing about the man other than he was a TV show guy.
I think
he's in the business that all the people who hate him are in.
Correct. Which is funny. He does it better than them.
Probably. I feel like now it comes down to jealousy with all that shit. I feel like they're just jealous. Like, damn, I could have been a president too. Who knows? I was the Fear Factor guy. I could have been the president, but I didn't go for it. Like, come on, like.
Well, I sit here and I'm trying to digest this. What Sal's saying.
Like, well, I couldn't vote for Trump. So and they're like, well, and then I'll give them all credit. Oh, well, Hillary was shady, blah blah blah, but maybe she was going to keep going along the same. Because they think what Obama did was good.
Well,
that's how warped it is. So they're like, oh, more of the same.
Well, we are.
Sign me up.
Right. Well, the thing I find amazing is kind of what Sal alluded to. How are you going to be a Bernie supporter when you flat out know it's a fact that he was screwed by Hillary. The whole party was screwed. How do you think why this guy Seth Rich is dead? Why that other guy is dead? What was his name?
I mean, there was the lawyers.
There was a bunch of guys. But anyway,
that's why they do it. I think so many,
right.
So you lose track.
Yeah, there's so many. But how are you going to sit there and say it was Trump's fault? She stole everything from him. She basically told Debbie Wasserman Schultz to bag him.
No, I'm saying just like the liberal person.
Right.
In their mind, well, I can't vote for him. I can't vote for him. Like, these people worship actors and all these media figures, but they couldn't vote for. He is a friggin' media figure. He is like, well, I don't get it. That's what it just blows my mind.
I think it's because he has the R next to his name, and if he didn't have that, I think they would be okay with it.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think if he did one or two more social justice innuendo topics out there.
But the fact of the matter is that he's such a ball buster. Yeah. He's the king of ball busting. He's the king of having these clowns fall into the bear trap. They fall in every time. And Sal and I have been talking from number one podcast till now is that in the last little over half a year, a little more, 3/4 of a year, every single thing that he has said is true. And so why don't you go with what you're going to start with, and then we can take it from there, because there's so much to talk about. The Julian Assange just alone opened up a can of holy moly worms. I mean, I got so much I could drop on just what he talked. I went through the thousands of emails, and but Sal's going to go into what he wants to discuss first, and we could take it from there because there's so much to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, well, we're talking about truths and untruths right now, so we'll start with one of the biggest friggin' untruths I've seen in a while, and this is that Michael Wolff book that I guess Steve Bannon helped him write.
Yeah. About
the Trump first year. Yeah. Was it Fire and Fury?
Yeah, Fire and Fury.
And Fire and Fury was a stolen line that Trump took from another president anyway.
Right.
So it just blows. They don't do any homework. They don't do any history. And then they go and make up things. Well, like, they say things that are so unbelievable to me. Like, why would you even write this? And why? But they did it just to rile up the left. Just to see.
Correct.
Like, all right, let's tell them in the book that Melania and him don't sleep in the same room.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
like, if it is true, whatever. If most likely, I doubt it's not true.
Do you think Bill and Hillary ever slept in the same room?
No, I doubt there's like, yeah, please. That's just such an arrangement.
What a joke.
What a power couple. I mean, that's the sole purpose of that whole relationship is for power and greed. But anyway, back to the Trumps. Like, that whole book and just everything we read, and then today that guy Wolff came out and he said, "Well, I basically said what I had to say to spin a good story."
Yeah.
Some of it.
Yeah.
He said most of it isn't true. Some of it isn't true. Then it's just like, what the fuck?
The part that
then why do they make such a big deal about it?
Well, the part that I found funny is this: I was up super early this morning, and I had to be out. I was in a hotel, and I had to be out. And so obviously, you can't control what's on the TV. So before I was warming my car up, I had like 10 minutes to just grab a quick yogurt and a coffee. And they had NBC on. And every story was about this. So my take on it was, this is all planned out. It's all well thought out. Someone on the DNC is contacting these media executives and saying, this is the story you're going to run with. And I found it was unwatchable or unlistenable, all the stuff they were saying. It was just, they were so giddy about, and then when I was leaving, they when you go to commercial, they talk about what's coming up. They had like 3 or 4 things. 3 of them were about Trump in this book, and then another one was about Trump and something else. And all negative, obviously, because we already told you a couple podcasts ago that 93% is negative on the guy. So it's just, we already know we can't believe anything they say, but it's getting worse by the day. Worse by the day. Yeah. Excuse me.
Did you see, to combat some of this stuff, Trump is, this is going to be on Monday. He said that he announced this, the Trump Fake News Awards. The first ever Trump Fake News Awards will be held on Monday.
He's so crazy.
I can't wait to see what he says.
They're like the raspberries.
I can't wait to just see how funny it's going to be. He's going to do a little ceremony about it. I can't wait to see what the awards look like and who they get given to. It's going to be hilarious.
The guy's great. Yeah. The guy is so friggin' funny. And the stuff he says and does. Yeah. And we said this from day one. The reason, and I heard a couple people talking about this, and I wasn't even part of the conversation. I was just observing other people. And they said, we love Trump because he's real. He's not a phony. If he's pissed off, he's mad. If he wants to be funny and bust your chops, he does it. If he's heartfelt and he's sincere, he does it. He wears his emotions on his sleeve. And I like that. It's refreshing. And I love these people who say, and they're 99.9% liberals and Democrats, say, "Oh, he's harsh. He says things that is rude." And I want to say, you fucking idiots. You think your guys don't say anything like this? No, what they do is they say wink, wink, and they say something nice. And when the camera's off, they say a million times worse. Listen, I know several people that were on Hillary's detail. When she was, they said she was the nastiest, meanest, and most vicious person they've ever had to be around in their lives.
To that point, I've heard other podcasts now who've had ex-military dudes on who did military detail for Hillary. Same exact things that you just said. They said the same exact, almost verbatim, exactly the same.
Listen, she kicked a friggin' dog that was sniffing out a bomb in her room. She kicked it, and the guy said he wanted to smack her, but obviously he wanted to keep his career. And I would have loved it if he did. But that just goes to show you. You know how much of a dog lover we are. Yeah. There's no excuse ever.
Right here.
Yeah. There's no excuse ever to put your hands on a dog. At the time, our Secretary of State kicked a German Shepherd that was, as a matter of fact, there should have been a bomb in her room, and the thing should have went off and killed her. The dog and the guy are doing a service to this woman, and she kicked it.
She's just a reptilian, disgusting, vile piece
parasite.
Of shit. Anyway, back to that book. I don't know how much credit Rush Limbaugh gets or whatever. He said, he's like, and we all know this too, that like, the reason Bannon was fired from his job is because he was the one leaking all that stuff.
Yeah.
He was just the biggest leaker. And that's who he is. He's the Breitbart newspaper guy. Like his mind isn't leaking shit and getting news out there and stuff like that. But now I think because he got fired, like it's just straight up bitterness. Yeah. That's why he went and did this stupid book with the guy. Yeah. He wants to make some money off of his little 2 minutes in the fame in the spotlight.
To me, he seems a bit unstable. He just seems like he goes.
You can go back to the earliest podcast we ever talked about him. I said it then. I wasn't sure about him. I was like, I don't know about him. I'm not sure about half these dudes. I don't know about Sessions. I said it then, and now it's just all coming to fruition now. Like
a part of me thinks this. It's not so much that Trump hires bad people. I think his pool is bad. I mean, he just has a group of people to choose from, and it's like you put 10 marbles. You put 10 black marbles in a bag, and you're trying to find a red one. If you're going down, you're going to probably get a black marble, and that's what I think. I think in his bag of choices, he has 10 bad ones and one good one, and there's just not many out there that are good in politics today. They're all scumbags. It's been proven. Just look time and time again, whether you're Republican or Democrat, 80 to 85% of politicians are just pieces of shit. We know this. I mean, obviously Democrats and liberals are much worse, but the Republican rhinos are just as bad. And the other ones in DC, they're all looking just to make money. Yeah. It's all about the cash. Follow the money.
How much money they can make on the side.
Exactly.
And whatever they can do afterwards when they get out. That's why I've been saying it for a while. There's this weird incestuous relationship between corporations, business corporations, and the government, and how they interchange leaders, and how they all are just getting fat off the land. It's disgusting.
Yeah, it's most definitely. It's the only way these guys can become wealthy. They can't become wealthy on their salaries. They make what some of us make, and none of us are wealthy. Believe me when I tell you, we're struggling, or we have been struggling, and hopefully things will change in 2018. But how is it that these guys, I know plenty of people, including myself at some point, who made just as much as a senator makes, and none of us are worth anywhere. We're not even worth 1/100th of what these assholes are worth, because we got to pay our taxes. In real world America, when you make what a senator makes, you leave with 50% in your pocket. These guys make what they make, and they have 50 times worth what they make. It's insanity. It just doesn't make any sense.
Well, to that point, one of the good news I think I saw was a lot of the year in review things are coming out now.
Yeah.
So in 2017, Trump cut over 16,000 federal jobs.
I saw that. That's great.
So that's just the start of the draining of the swamp. And you see it here. You see all these corrupt politicians, Republican and Democrat, stepping down because of all the crazy, vile stuff that they've done, and now it's all getting exposed. So good riddance. Yeah. Hopefully get some better, more reliable people into these positions.
I mean, here in New Jersey, I'm praying Menendez goes. He's got to go.
He will.
He's got to go.
he's gonna get like some kind of crazy brain cancer, like McCain, just for all the crazy, horrible things he's done in his life. That's it's just karma, man.
Done a lot
you
of
get
really
horrible
bad
deaths, man. That's how it happens.
Yep. And yeah, what else you got? You got anything else?
Got lots to go with them.
Okay. What I want to kind of touch base on Julian Assange and Wiki's emails, and it's interesting because I'm going to jump around a little bit here because what he didn't do is he didn't put anything in a classification of chronological order or people order. He just dropped bombs on everything, like I mentioned in the beginning of the podcast. And the first thing he exposed was, of course, who else? The media. And what they found in emails, and I read these, was that the New York Times, when they got a hold of a story, or they found out from their colleagues, meaning at the Washington Post, some are related to people in CNN or CNBC. When they got news of a story, they gave 9 to 10 days to Hillary and Obama warning to construct a narrative. So when it was ready to go on the air, they already had a so-called excuse or reason why that happened, or to claim it was false, because they have a dude named the New York Times reporter. His name's Scott Shane. He's the political investigative reporter for the New York Times. He was in contact ad nauseum with a guy named Philip Crowley, who was Obama's assistant secretary of state under Hillary. So these guys, they proved on hundreds of emails that these guys were talking not just once a day, multiple times a day, letting each other know, specifically the media guy, to the assistant secretary of state, of what was going to be dropped, how to deal with it, how they were going to combat it and say it was false and make up the lies, the fake news that Sal mentioned earlier. So that's just one of the things, and it just goes to show you that everything we've been saying, and let's be honest, everything Donald Trump has been saying is true. Every single thing.
This is so funny. Oh man, and it's funny. Like anytime, even the reason he signed, I think we covered in our year-end recap, but the reason he signed the tax reform papers right before Christmas, because the media was saying that he wouldn't.
Right.
Like, he won't do it till the new year.
Oh yeah.
Anything they do, he's going to prove you wrong.
Right.
He's just that type of guy. We've talked about it over and over again. He's always going to be a winner. He's a winner. He's going to be the alpha. That's what he is.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this before. The fact that the media was so wrong on the election alone, they should have lost all their credibility alone on that. Not one media figure, and Hollywood person, but specifically the media, or said that he had a chance. I can understand if you're Rachel Maddow, who's an asshole, Chris Matthews, all these people, I'm not going to name them all. But if they said, hey, listen, there's something to this President Trump. He has a rally and 80,000 people show up. You know, Hillary's having a rally in Chappaqua or Westchester, and she has 300 people show up, or 240. Like, there's something to this guy. This guy is a movement, and we really should be looking at him more closely than we are. I think we're underestimating them. If they said that, at least I would give them a semblance of credit. However, if you go back and watch, which I did, because I wanted to hear exactly what was coming out of their mouth, they were downplaying it. Oh, he doesn't have he didn't have that many people there. He didn't have 80,000. He had 20,000. Or, oh, Donald Trump won't show the crowd. Because, meanwhile, when he did show the crowd, it was stadium seating filled to the rafters. And then they show outside another 20, 30,000 sitting outside. And that's where they lose. You can't even listen to these people. And this is where I laugh at liberals and Democrats specifically, because this is where they get all of their news. And they said to Sal, they said to myself, some liberals that we know will even say, the New York Post doesn't lie. The Washington Post wouldn't lie. I'm like, what the fuck are you kidding me? They lie on a daily basis. If you had to count all the retractions they did in 2017, and here's the problem. When they do their retractions, they do the story on page 1. When they do the retractions, they do it on page 60, and they do it in a bite that big. They basically don't even tell the truth, and they don't even let people know.
He was about to run right into the camera. I was trying to stop him.
It's cool.
Yeah. See, the thing is, I think they lost all their credibility, like you said back then. I don't think they have any credibility. They just have so much money.
Yeah, they got a lot.
They're gonna keep pumping it out until they run out of all their money and they have to go bye-bye. So they do have a lot of money. They're gonna run this ship right into the wall, and if they, they're hoping beforehand that a net catches them and they get saved, but they're going, they're going down with the ship. They don't care.
One of the other, I'm sorry, guys.
No, that's it.
One of the other things Wiki exposed this week, and this had to do with the Muslim Barack Obama. I know you liberals hate when I call him the Muslim, but that's what he is. That pisses them off, and I love it because
anything religion pisses them off.
Well, no, it's funny too. I'm just gonna kind of go back to the future. I want to go back to when Obama was first running, when I first heard his name, and they said he was Christian, whatever they said. I laughed my ass off, and I said to myself, all right, guess what?
Never met a Christian guy named Barack before.
Thank you. Barack Hussein Obama. Do me a favor. I challenge anyone, pretty much anyone, to go into any Catholic or Christian church that you attend and ask any type of priest you may know, sister in the church, person who maybe collects the money, person who does the singing, whatever, and ask them, say, hey, quick question for you. Do you have any, constituents that come here? Any worshipers who are named Hussein or Barack? They'll laugh at you. It was so evident that it's ridiculous that we're going to have a guy of all America to put forward, the 300+ million people to put forward. We're putting forward as president a guy named Barack Hussein Obama.
I love that they claim that he's black.
Yeah, I love that too. He's a
Saudi man.
He's an Oreo cookie, is what he is. But Wiki proved this drop that they did a couple days ago. They proved that Obama lied. And they showed, believe it or not, this was great. If you guys didn't see this, you have to see this. Wiki had Barack Obama's handwritten note, and he had a flow chart of what would happen and how he was going to denounce that Hillary wiped out the 33,000 emails, how they were going to dispute it. It was sitting there in black and white, and it was his handwriting.
Before it ever happened.
And he lied. He said, if you remember, people, if any of you are aware of this, he came on a press conference and he said, and I remember it like it was yesterday because I was watching it, he had the balls to say, I'm finding out about this the same time you are. And I'm laughing. Like, you're the friggin' president. You get all this shit. Like, are you think we're this stupid? But here's the funny part. You liberals are this stupid because you believe him. And this proved that he was lying. It had a date on the friggin' thing. That's how dumb he was. He put a date on it. So he basically confirmed for us that he was lying. Because that's how stupid he is. But that was one. And Cheryl Mills,
hilarious.
Basically, she should be brought in right now because we always talk about when you prosecute somebody, you get the low-hanging fruit, and then you let them rot until they rat on the people above them. Cheryl Mills was one of the orchestrators in this, and they told the FBI to stand down. So all the people we talked about, it says it in the email, the McCabe's of the world, who we despise, the Weissmans of the world, the Comeys. Mueller wasn't there, though, but the other guy, or they all were told to stand down, and they did. And that's how we know how this all came about and how she's gotten away with all this stuff.
Hillary, the Hildebeest, all of her beautiful nicknames.
And they all fit. They're all fitting to her.
She looks like Chancellor Palpatine from Star Wars. Evil.
She's brutal.
Yeah.
And then another thing that came about, and this was Roger Stone. And I don't know if you know that guy, but
yeah, we talked about.
Yeah, Roger Stone. I want to just knock on this briefly because they did come out in Wiki that they said there's a 3-tier plan that the Deep State has to get rid of Trump.
Amendment 25.
Correct.
Right now.
Well, number one already failed. That was the Russia Trump stuff. That's failed. So even some idiots are still mentioning it, but they're trying to put that out to pasture.
First it was collusion.
Yeah.
Then it was whatever.
Right now they're trying to say he's unfit, and they're also
now he's mentally unfit.
Yeah, that's what they're doing now.
That's
so
what the goal is. That's not going to work.
And then the scary thing is, and they believe that if this fails, gotta
kill him.
That's what they're saying. And it's like John F. Kennedy assassination time, which is pretty scary, people. And here's my, and I want to get your take on it, but my take is this: I think if that happens, God forbid, you will have the deplorables of this world, people on the right, even right center, and even some in the center, not many, but some, are going to revolt big time. You're going to have a problem in this country.
Well, you know how we love talking about Jocko and those ex-Marine SEALs. Trump and I were in this last week. I wish I could remember the source. I would tell you guys if I did, but I read it was a reliable source that he doesn't let the Secret Service protect him. They follow him and they're around where he needs to be to like set up perimeters or whatever. But Trump has spent more than any other president already in year one on his own personal security team.
Right. He's smart. I would do the same.
Hundreds of people everywhere he goes protecting him. And it's smart because he knows that. He's like, man, I can't trust anybody in this government.
I completely agree.
So he has his own security detail that he privately pays himself everywhere he goes. Everywhere. So I mean, that put my mind a little at ease. I was like, all right, good.
That is good.
At least he doesn't have those jerk off Secret Service guys.
Let me explain something to you. If you know how the tiers of the military work, Secret Service they're up there. They're up there. Yeah. However, you can't. I don't think that they would even be not. Now I wouldn't say all of them, but as a group or as a cumulative group. They're not competing with modern day SEALs or Rangers or Recon or Special Forces. Those guys are legit.
They're trained, trained, and they have a different mindset.
Their mindset is, and from what I understand from the several Navy SEAL friends that I have and that I've spoken to, is they live by a different code and ethics than these. When they swear that they're going to uphold, the Constitution and that they're going to be against all enemies, foreign and domestic, they live that. They live that code. They live that life. And you can tell by the way I know the guys I spoke to, and I know several, and none are from this area. Some are a couple from Texas, another guy from California, Northern. These guys, that's the way they live their life. And then I'm not friends with them on Facebook, but I follow them. If you listen to this guy, Chris Paranto, every day he torches Hillary. He torches Hillary, Obama, liberals, and Democrats, and he's attacking. First off, he's a smart dude. He's not a dummy, and he torches them every day. He actually tortures them. I don't know. I didn't mean to say torch. He tortures them on Twitter. On Twitter.
Yeah, actually, it works both ways.
Yes, so I'm all screwed up. On Twitter, Facebook, this guy just destroys them. And he left. I think he left a tweet yesterday. It was great. Someone came across and said Hillary, Donald Trump is not for the military. And he came back with, "Are you kidding?" And I like it. I think he even said, "Are you fucking kidding me?" He's like, Hillary left me and 40 of my friends to die, and blah blah blah. And he went to a whole bunch of stuff. So he's like, "Know what the hell you're talking about? You sound like an idiot." So I really like that guy. But guys like that, you want on your detail, like President Trump has. Yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah. So. You're right, though. If something were to happen to him, I think there would be a tremendous uprising that they didn't see coming on the other side. But I also highly doubt it's going to happen.
I agree. So. But here's what I don't get, and this is what I no one's discussed. What does the left think is going to happen? I think this is crazy, and I know we've discussed this before, but liberals have told me this. Not a lot, but some have. I want to say to them, if you get rid of President Trump, who do you get?
They might think Pence plays ball better, though. You never know. He might. Yeah, I don't know, but
you get Pence.
I doubt it because he's even a stricter.
Well, some of them think Hillary's gonna be. I'm like, you idiots.
Well,
that's just
they think that there's gonna if Trump dies that they can hold a special election in that case, which is not how it doesn't. That's not how it works. No, this is how they set the system up.
It's complete nonsense.
If he dies, the vice president, and then if he dies, then what? Paul Ryan gets to be president, or is that how it works? I forget.
It's the House or the Secretary of State.
Oh God, either way, we're someone we don't want.
No. But I do believe that, God forbid, but I think Sal's right. I don't think since his detail is special guys, I think we're going to be okay. But you never know. But I think if it does happen, and I mean that with the most sincere and heartfelt, God forbids, I don't think that'll be a good thing. I really think that'll be terrible. So I do think any type of if God forbid that happens, any type of celebratory stuff from the left. The right we had enough. You'll see ass kicking in the streets. Honest to God.
I mean, I think it would be more. Yeah,
seriously,
it would be home invasions and beatings.
Right.
I think
I know if I know when
there would be lots of people going to jail the next day. That's
correct.
For sure.
Well, I know when Ronald Reagan was shot, it wasn't that celebratory thing on the left. Thank God. When Kennedy was shot, I was too young to really realize what was going on. But when I talked to people who were born then, it wasn't like that at all. The whole country was in mourning. I just know that if God forbid something like this ever went down, and there's somebody next to me celebrating this,
they're getting jacked.
I would jack them up. I would. I'd be in a
I'd be in a bad mood.
Yeah, it would be really, really bad. But that's something that I hope it's all speculation. And I hope nothing like this would ever be discussed, because it would be a horrible day in America.
And the good thing is, too, is that if we talk about it enough and get it out there, the likelihood of it happening slims down even more. Because then more and more people know about it.
I'm praying it's like Antifa saying that November 4th.
Yeah, since that got out, that got out for like a month, and they're like, oh, yeah? And then what happened? Everyone squashed it immediately.
Another thing that came out, I wanted to ask your opinion on this, was we know this guy. This somehow in the beginning of all these investigations, the assistant piece of shit, Andrew McCabe of the FBI assistant director, he flew under the radar. However, when he got brought in front of Congress and he got in that judicial committee, he got exposed, and he got exposed pretty badly. But it just came out this week with these wiki emails that he directed all his field operatives to depress and suppress all the information on Hillary, including emails, Benghazi. And there was a multitude of listings that he said. So people in the field weren't allowed to do their job. And that's how we know that Comey made that exoneration letter 2 months before, because McCabe had told him to get rid of all that information. Don't talk about it. Don't bring it out. Blah, blah, blah. And so this guy, McCabe, I'm shocked. And we talked about this, how Sessions, and now I think people are starting to get really kind of antsy with Sessions. Sal just mentioned it without even any provocation. Sal mentioned 4 minutes ago, he's like, Sessions got to go pretty soon. And I'm in total agreement. I think the waiting is over. I don't care what you say. I know about 7 or 8 podcasts ago, Sal and I were talking about this, and Sal brought something up to me about all your I's have to be dotted and your T's have to be crossed. I think they have way more information than they need, and now it's just a matter of pulling the trigger, and he's not doing it, and I don't know why, and it's quite upsetting to me.
Sessions probably has an uncle in Arkansas or some shit that we don't know about.
Yeah, it's just really, really strange how this guy. I'm looking for somebody to go down. I mean, I'm waiting for that first hammer to fall.
I'm telling there's within the DNC, within the Dems right now, there's a power struggle, and they're duking it out behind the scenes. We don't know about it.
Yeah,
there's going to be a winner, and the loser is the one going down. That's what I think.
Not bad. It's a good theory.
Give it they're battling it out now. Give it like a week or two when the heads got to roll. Then we'll see who won.
I mean, I know we have a lot of buddies out there who are cops or detectives and do this for a living. I don't even think you have to be that. You guys are experts at it. This is what you do for a living. I would never question what you do. This is what your expertise is. But I know watching enough cop shows how this works. I mean, you bring in the underlings, and then you cut one person a deal, and when you bring in enough of them, whoever jumps forward first with the best information gets the deal. And then you consult with each other and you say, we have A, B, C, D, and F. Who gave the best info? A gave this, B, and so on and so forth. You find out that E gives your best info. E gets the pardon. They get to go on their way. They're on witness protection. The other 4 get sentences, not as severe as what the people they're reporting on. And then the ones up top, like the Obamas, the Clintons, all these people, you give them bad shit going down. And but I can't believe we had not even had one yet. Not one has fallen. Not one.
Got to make them like Hyman Roth and
exactly.
Godfather. They can't even buy the way in the country.
Right,
just expel them.
And he was a rich dude, so that's what we need to do.
Expel them from this place. They don't deserve to be here.
In the FBI, there's this other little weasel named Andrew Weissman. We've talked about him before. He's the head legal attorney for the FBI. And in an email that was released from Wiki, he was praising and applauding then interim Attorney General Sally Yates that she didn't enforce the travel ban by President Trump at the time. This same guy was every major ruling that he won got overturned in the Supreme Court because they found the way he received his information was sneaky, underhanded, and he lied, cheated, and steal, blah, blah. How this guy still has a job, I don't know. He should be disbarred, but he does. And something like this just goes to show you another thing. I sit here, Sal, and I'm in amazement how Julian Assange gets this incredible, crazy information. It's mind-blowing. This guy, by far, in my 52 years on this planet, I've never seen a dude like this bring down anybody, any organization. He bring down anybody. He could probably bring down any single person you want to. He's just been focusing on this because it's so corrupt.
You gotta love someone like that who just takes the bull by the horn and goes for it. Because he's like, we didn't ruin his life, but he's making his life a lot harder than it needs to be. So to have a guy like that, now since people see that, they're like, shit, I don't want to go down, but if I shoot him the information, he's going to spray it out there for me.
Yeah.
And that's how he's getting all this information out, like you're saying. People are just like, yeah, you here.
Yeah.
I don't want to be me because I have a life, I have a kid, whatever.
He's taking
like,
the hit.
all right, I'll take the hit for
it.
And he's like, it's a noble thing. It's a very noble thing to do. Even though people hate him, even though
I love him,
even though that was like one of the biggest Obama era things that he said he was going to protect all the whistleblowers.
Yeah,
and he decided to fuck all the whistleblowers.
That was a no lie. And we know for a fact that Seth Rich was one of his
whistleblower,
and he's the guy who got killed. Yeah. And we know how that went down. But he was one of the guys giving the info to Julian Assange, who admitted to that. And I think the guy Sean Lucas too, the other guy who died. It's a shame. We have a bunch of them.
You can't prove it, and you just can only prove that they're dead. It just sucks.
Well, to prove it, like there's so much money and power and corruption in there that it's almost impossible to finger point. They don't do it. How can you finger point when the guy's investigating you are part of the fucking problem?
You're the one who said, yeah, why don't you pull the trigger? You're that guy.
Like, well, you know what's funny? I try to put this on. I always try to put things on simpler level. It would be me like being best friends with every guy in the West Colwell Police Department, and there's some guy who pisses me off down the block. So I go down, and I beat his head with a golf club and kill him. And all of a sudden, the West Colwell Police Department goes down and investigates, and they look and they say, "Oh, the guy's dead." Well, what leads do we have? Well, I didn't see anybody.
It's like he slipped and fell on his golf clubs.
There's no murder weapon. There's no video. There's no witness. Oh, I don't know. I guess he just died.
He got robbed, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's what it's like.
Chalk it up to a random act of violence.
It's
another day.
Unbelievable. Another thing that was big news is Hillary Clinton had this very close colleague named David Brock. And they found that David Brock, who was a real snivel little weasel, excuse my language, cocksucker, they found out that he and the DNC were offering $700,000 to any woman or women that would come forward against President Trump and make a harassment claim when all this was going down months ago on all these scumbags. And they couldn't get anyone to corroborate the story because there was no truth to any of it. So this is just another, like, how is this stuff not being brought up? And like, these are crimes and no one goes down. No one.
It's just like, especially if you're one of those accusers, how much money would you have to be paid? Because if you're like getting paid to accuse somebody of something that's false, and it comes back like the boomerang effect always does,
it always does,
to prove that none of that happened. How much money did you just make to ruin your life? Not enough. Not enough money.
No, it's a one shot.
Yeah, it's a one shot. So if you're not making 7 figures off your one shot, you're ruining your life for no reason.
Yeah,
for stupidity.
I'm
gonna be on TV. I'm gonna be on TV.
Well, they're just a much better paid Maury Povich guest. Yeah. Well, they are
with Gloria Allred,
right? Exactly.
It's so see through.
It's comical how. I mean, this stuff is some of the most low level, other than the money being thrown around by these guys who have lots of it. This is some of the most disorganized, low-level shitheads you're dealing with on a daily basis.
When I went up into New York last week, and I saw I was hanging out with Rashid.
Yep.
He even gets all this stuff. He thinks the same way we think. He says the same exact stuff. He loves it. He's like, because he's in New York and he's around a lot of liberal people. He's like, dude, there's always people bashing Trump, and he's like, I'll always just pick a little fight with them, just to get them going.
That's great.
And it's just so funny because like. He has to deal with some. He's out in Queens. So he's dealing with some shitheads out there. So it makes me smile every time he tells me stories. And putting one of these idiots down. Like
it's funny because at the coffee shop I have a group of about 7 or 8 guys, and they're all pro-Trump, and they're all conservatives. These guys worked hard all their life. They just, some are older. I'm gonna say I'm the youngest guy, but I'm down there and I'm not that young. But these guys they worked all their asses off all their life, and they just are like, listen, we worked all our lives. We're just looking to, spend the later times of our lives enjoying ourselves. And we got to listen to this shit all day. And these are guys who fought in the military. You know, they were back in the day. They were in Vietnam, or some of them were. I wouldn't say any. They were probably in Vietnam, but they were just guys. I just want to enjoy my life, and I got to listen to these liberal shitheads just talk like nonsense. And it's funny though, because I'm noticing that there are more and more marshmallowy people on this planet. You know, in our country, I don't know how it got like this so bad.
I don't. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Sorry,
No,
I don't know how they get the balls to say some of the dumb marshmallowy stuff that they say. That's what truly throws me off, is like when they come out and say some of that nonsense.
Yeah.
How they even got enough strength to muster that nonsense to come out.
Yeah.
Because you know that they have to know the majority of people think they're idiots. I mean, it's just like, how could you not, like, they're talking about like what the airplane when you bring your dog on, like, what is that, like, I forget, special needs dog.
Yeah. What do you care?
And like they actually go, like, I get it. I want duties to come on the airplane with me too. I would love to have my dog on the airplane with me. But special needs, and they'll go and tell people, well,
the thing has
like, how weak do you like how. You know how weak the majority of people must perceive you is, that you need a little baby dog to be in your arms at all times to function normally?
Right.
What kind of person, or how have you made it this long?
I think it's a personal excuse.
No, I get, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I want, if duties was 100 pounds, I would have that excuse too. I take them everywhere with me.
Well,
but it's just like, you can't say it to other people and be serious. You get what I'm trying to say? You can't be serious about it when you actually are talking. Well, like, you come off like so weak and so dumb and so
Well, you
come off as yuck. That's the word.
I got to tell I know a lot of you guys on Facebook know what I'm going to be talking about now, and I'm sorry, I got to talk about it. My wife pointed this out to me. I personally thought it was funny, and then there's a little caveat to the story. But yesterday, I just got to give you this story because it's pretty funny. Yesterday, I am in servicing surgeons, and I don't know any of these people. They don't know me. It's the first time I'm meeting them. So they were from a whole group. So long story, with the weather being the way it was, people were driving in, even if they weren't working, because they had to attend this in-service to get credentialed. So over the course of 2 days, I saw over 150 people. There was basically 20 in-services with 7 to 10 people on every, no more, 10 to 15 people on every in-service. So towards the end of the day yesterday, it was like 5 o'clock, 5:15. Only one person showed up for the last one, and I had to stick around. She was a younger woman, probably in her mid-30s, and she came in all bundled up. And we were talking about, she drove in from Philly. So we're talking about the weather, and we're talking about driving conditions, and, you know, stuff that you're talking about, how was your commute? Was it okay? Blah, blah, blah. So as she was getting settled in, she had a hat, scarf on, jacket. And I said to her, all right, listen, I'm gonna, looks like we'll wait another few minutes, see if anyone else comes, because it wasn't scheduled. People come at will. And I said, we'll wait for like a few minutes. If no one comes in, you and I will just do this. And, you sign in and you get credentialed and you'll be fine. Okay. So as she's getting ready, I'm getting my stuff ready. And I couldn't help it. I turned around and she had a shirt on like I did. And when she pulled her sleeves up, she had an arm that was just full of hair. And I know it was the first thing I thought of, for those of you who are in our generation, she looked like Teen Wolf.
She's taking testosterone.
Right. It was, and she, listen, I want to be the first to say, and I never said this, she wasn't a man, she wasn't a tranny. She was a nice girl who just had a very carpet lawn arm. It was, I'm talking, and so I took a picture of just her arm and I put it on Facebook. You would not believe the backlash I got. People calling me hateful, mean-spirited.
That's the shaming we talked about.
So disappointed in you.
You can't do things like that
and
nowadays.
I said no. I was very. And then someone called me a bully, and I said no. I was very nice to her. I said, matter of fact, I wasn't talking about her as a person. I was talking about her arm. But I want to tell you something. This woman was proud of it because she rolled up her sleeve. So she purposely rolled up her sleeves to show her hairy arm. So
she doesn't care.
No, she didn't care.
If she was self-conscious about it, she wouldn't have did
Right.
it.
And I looked at it this way. I am making fun of a person, because I got to tell you something. It was so hairy that I couldn't take my eyes off of it. And I want to tell you how funny. When I was done, the administrator who was in charge of this whole session would come in at the end and just give somebody like a brief little synopsis of the day. It was only 3 of us. After I got done with her, I moved to the back and this woman was talking. This woman, to watch her face when she sat down, because she was sitting across from the table, no more than 3 feet. She was like, she even looked at her because her arm was laden with hair. But my wife said a bunch of funny stuff on Facebook, and I got one of her friends said, I think Gary lost about 5 friends because of that hairy post, arm post. And I just started cracking up. I'm like, are you serious? Are you serious?
Listen, you didn't do it maliciously. You shared it amongst friends for
Right.
a goof. You didn't share it to be like, ew, I hate this girl. Ew.
No.
You did it as a goof.
I actually said she was very smart. She was very cordial. I couldn't
you
believe.
And you did it in a way that, maybe she could find out, but
No.
you did it in a way that she would never know.
No.
So like you're not doing it to hurt this girl.
I didn't.
I don't get it.
I showed her
get so
arm.
outraged.
I just showed her. I mean, I don't know. Can you name a person by the way their arm looks? It didn't have a tattoo on, just hair. I mean, is she the only woman that has a hairy arm?
No one knows her. She's
No.
not from the state.
She's from Philadelphia.
Exactly.
She's from Philly. But anyway, so
I don't know. People get outraged over anything they can get.
so that's
anything that's a little distasteful.
Yeah.
They'll get outraged. I
was cracking up. I thought it was when people were attacking me and calling me names. I thought it was hilarious. Someone said I was a small-minded person.
You did it as a goof. It's like you can't do anything. It's like you can't have a sense of humor.
Right.
You can't have any. You have to be serious.
I was cracking up.
Serious 100% of the time.
And listen, to that same tone, there are a lot of cool people that said a lot of funny stuff. The thread is hilarious because some people said really
just have fun with it.
Yeah, have
people.
fun. It was fun. But the reason I'm bringing this up is because what we were talking about, very soft and marshmallowy and very like stick up your ass, like really uptight people. And that's not the way I live my life.
It's like I don't know who commented negatively on your post, but it's those people too. It's like we're having fun. We're having a little gag, a little goof.
I make fun of myself all the time.
Yeah,
I have a hairy back. I hate it.
Try doing it sometimes. You might laugh and be a little bit happier in your life.
Listen, one of my Christmas gifts that my wife got me was a back scratcher with a razor blade on it that I could shave my back. I look like a fucking gorilla. I got to do that. Matter of fact, when I do have to shave I hate that my back is hairy. It's itchy. It looks like shit. But when I do it, my wife has to take me to the patio and do it because she doesn't want hair on her floor. So there you go. I'm making fun of myself. I am the wolf man, all right? So that's my hair. You can make fun of me. I have a hairy back. La, la, la. I'm happy, I'll tell you. And I have a hairy ass, too. How's that? Anyway, so that's enough of my tirade. Go ahead, Sal. What do you got?
Going along the same line. Not the same lines as that. I was going to go back to
no hairy ass.
Political pork and stuff.
Go ahead.
Let's see. I guess we saw the Iran people protesting. Yeah. So that was pretty serious. I'm not sure what the hell they were protesting over or what the hell it was all about, but I'm glad to see that they got up off their asses and finally went against the evil dictatorship government that rules them.
I would really like – that's the one thing. Whenever there's protests in the Middle East, it's very difficult to get what they're doing because no one can speak their language, and it's very hard to get any type of translation. But is there any inkling on what was going on over there about what they were so pissed about?
It was something to do with...
Well, I know the government.
Oh, yeah, but I got no idea. I just know that they were like, finally, there was thousands and thousands in the street. I was like, here we go.
I do know Trump was kind of supporting the protesters.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, if you remember the last episode, we said, what are our predictions for 2018? I said, we're going to take out a state somewhere, an Iran or North Korea.
Correct.
And that was one of the first things Trump tweeted. He's like, all right. He's like, we're watching Iran. Just know that we're watching.
You don't understand. Over Iran, of these group of protests, there has to be someone who declares themselves the leader. Why can't someone speak to that person and get, because I want to know what the hell's going on here.
Well protected.
Right. It might get killed. But yeah, but that's
that I saw was crazy, and then we saw that Kim Jong-un finally realizes that Trump is way crazier than he is. So he's kind of backing down.
The message on there was funny.
The button.
Yeah, the button was hilarious.
The button was
My button's bigger than your button. I was cracking up. I mean,
that's nuts. He's nuts. That's why I love Trump, because people fear him and hate him because he's this crazy. I love him because he's that crazy.
Listen, here's my take on him. Ronald Reagan used to say the same things, a lot more diplomatically, but he said the same thing.
Trump is
is more of a street guy.
More of a frat guy, basically.
Yeah.
70-year-old frat boy is what he turns out to be.
Yeah, and there can be, when he said that, the first thing I thought of, and my mind's usually not in the gutter, but when it comes to my thing is bigger than your thing, it's usually like a male, endowment thing. So I thought that was pretty funny. But he went on to say all this stuff, and I was just cracking up. I'm like, This guy is hilarious.
That was like the culmination of all the crazy talk between them. But they were going back and forth, and Trump was just kind of you can't mess with him. Like especially when his military is so much larger than yours. Like you got to know when to back down eventually.
Let's take the military out of it. Let's take the country. Let's just talk mano a mano. You will not win a tweeting war with Donald Trump.
Honestly,
the guy's a beast.
Even if they were to fight, say, a real fist fight between Kim Jong versus Trump,
he'd be a football.
Trump might take him. Even though, I mean,
he'll kill him.
Kim's got 40 years on him. You got 40 years. Trump still would fuck him up, I think. That would be amazing. Well, imagine that in the pay-per-view, in a cage fight.
Well, speaking of this tweeting, there was a stupid tweet I heard yesterday where this DNC guy, and I wish I remembered his name. I forgot. But he said something that he thought he was trying to be witty, and then President Trump ripped him a new asshole. But he said something to Trump like, Trump, you're hanging out with people just like you. Make sure they're the size of Shamu. And I was like, what? It didn't even make any sense. And then Trump just tore the guy a new asshole, and the guy never responded because he knew he was in way over his head. If you're talking about Shamu, Trump took this guy into deep water of the tweeting wars and drowned his ass. This guy tried to play in the big leagues, and he put out something that bombed ridiculously, and Trump just basically, to the whole world, or the Twitter world, just destroyed this fool, and the guy just clammed up and shut up. But this is what I'm talking about. You can't get in a fight with this guy on Twitter. The guy's a beast.
You can't get him fighting with him anyway. He's just going to call you out and make you look stupid.
Yeah, he's an animal. He wins every single war on Twitter that he goes in. Even Jimmy Kimmel's afraid.
And that's why people hate him.
Of course.
They hate him. Oh, he shouldn't be tweeting. It's because they know like they're not going to be able to get him in a tweet war.
Right.
You can't do it. They're not going to do it.
I mean, the stuff that he did, and I would love to. All these comedians, they're afraid of him. They're afraid because he's relentless. That's something about he's relentless, and he's witty, and he's funny, and he's got balls for a president. I love that. That's great.
That's probably the best part about him is that he's got backbone. So I love that. I love that. The last little bit of foreign crap that I saw that was pretty crazy was, you see, ISIS is killing Hamas people now. You know, Hamas, the other radical Muslim.
What's the reason for it?
They're not radical enough.
Oh yeah,
ISIS. There's a video. I didn't watch the video because I don't like watching that type of stuff. But ISIS beheaded 25 of the top Hamas people they could find in this video.
They just beheaded them.
Yeah, it's because the reason is because this is not me. This is because ISIS said that Hamas don't hate Jewish people enough.
Yeah, I believe it.
And they did a video and they called them all out and they killed all those people.
Well,
I think that was the last bit of
kind of like the way liberals say liberals aren't liberal enough. They're not chopping their heads off.
It's that's exactly how I was going to correlate it. Because remember a while ago we talked about the cop that was transgender who wanted to do the rally. This is exactly that.
Correct.
Whoa!
I mean, they chop her head off.
They didn't kill her, but they got rid of her.
Right.
She's like, I'm an extremist, just like you're an extremist, or transgenderist, whatever you want to call them. I didn't mean to call them extremists. But
and they ousted her.
And they got rid of her.
They got rid of her. They wouldn't even let her go. Something I wanted to discuss, which I found funny, and it was, I didn't know a lot. I've been the last 2 days I've been going crazy with work, but I found this to be hysterical. I opened up my news feed, like the fire at Hillary's house.
Oh yeah.
I just started cracking up. I'm like, wait a second. There's got to be a story behind this, and of course. There is. So I'm going to take it away and then I'll address it.
What, Bill lighting cigars and sticking them in places we don't know where the sun don't shine? Is that what we're talking about?
Like FBI got warrants and all of a sudden, we're gonna curtail that.
It's never mind.
It's amazing.
I love it. Like they have their own personal server in their bedroom. I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
They do.
Get the hell out of here. I mean, I know it's, me and Angie were talking about that. It's not that most uncommon thing, but for a corrupt ass person as that, it's pretty telltale sign.
I mean,
of shady underdoings.
This is my favorite thing when I talk to a liberal and they say to me, Hillary hasn't been convicted of anything. We all know the story behind that. But I always go back and I say, you understand that in the last 3 years, 2 years, probably 2 years, that you had a guy who was supposed to testify against a Chinese businessman who is giving $4.3 million a year to the Clintons for the last 8 years or 7 years. He's supposed to testify that day at 3 o'clock. The guy was in Westchester, New York. He's going to be in Westchester Court. he was a United Nations spokesperson that lived here in the States. That morning, he was a African American gentleman in fairly good physical shape for his age. I think he was in his late 50s. Looked like he knew how to work out, and he was I'll call him, and I guess you would say he was an avid. I wouldn't say he was a fanatic. He was an avid person who trained. Looked like he was in good shape. Every day he went to the gym, did some cardio, lifted some weights. Not crazy. Kept in good shape for an older man. They find the barbell smashed on his neck. Not even a lot of weight. His name was John Ash. 125 pounds weight crushed across his neck. You figure how that happens. And then you get another story where this dude who wrote really detrimental things about Hillary Clinton goes on a news program on Sirius and states on a Tuesday that he's very happy, that he would never commit suicide, that this is what he said: if I end up dead, Hillary Clinton did it. On a Tuesday, he said this, Tuesday at 4 o'clock. I was listening to it. Thursday afternoon, they find the guy dead, committed suicide. He said, I would never commit suicide. I'm not depressed. I don't take drugs. I'm not on any medication. He ends up dead.
What about the guy who's like, if they kill me, they're going to compromise my car. And what did he die from? A car crash.
This is my point. And you're going to sit here and still tell me that then you get a fire. And I guess the point of my story is behind the Clintons, there's always a story about one of their accidents. Always a story behind it. Oh, so I found the fire in there. Chappaqua. Was that where she is? Chappaqua? No,
Shady Lane, something. Yeah, something.
But Chappaqua,
where the fuck they live.
I think Chappaqua is where Kennedy.
Yeah, no, that was it. That's what it was.
That's not where her house is. Is Chappaqua? No, her house is Chappaqua. The Kennedy stuff happened to Chappaquidda. Yeah, I know they sound alike, but yeah. It's in Westchester, New York.
It's in New York. Yeah.
So that was just something. So I found it to be incredibly comical, and just another thing Hillary gets away with. And where is she right now? She's probably laughing somewhere, having dinner, laughing her ass off. Like another thing I get it. I can't be. They used to call John Gotti the Teflon Don. That's me. I'm the Teflon Donis. She's a friggin' mob boss. We talk about it all the time.
If she does, let's just say in the future, I'm not going to put a specific date or time or reference around it. They decide to do like a dark movie about her.
Oh yeah,
they could do a really good one.
Oh yeah,
they could do an amazing crime movie about her. An Academy Award fucking winner.
You probably couldn't even fit all her shit in 3 hours.
Oh, I know. It would be. You can. It would be a fable.
It would be like The Godfather 1 and 2. 7.5 hours of her corrupt life. But that's that. You got anything else?
I'm good.
Yeah. No, I just want to do one thing before. And there's a lot of people here on Facebook, and I just want to kind of end the broadcast with this. It's kind of a sad day. We had a friend of ours who passed away today. His name was Jerry Zoppi. I had spoken to him on Wednesday, and he was waiting for a lung transplant. And I actually thought things were looking up for him when he talked. And let me just kind of give you a little feedback on Jerry, the kind of guy he was. He was going through all this shit. He was going back and forth to Temple University, and he was waiting. He was on the donor list. He lived a really good life, but unfortunately, he had some bad health things happen to him that were beyond his control. But he was the kind of guy that would always check on you to see how you were doing, no matter what he was going through. And sometimes when he did it, you almost forgot that he was sick, which I always used to try to make sure that I was asking him how he was doing. And he always had such a positive, upbeat, great way about him. Just a very spiritual guy. Every time I get up early every morning, I'd be up 5 o'clock. If I was up at 5 o'clock and I posted something, 5:02, Jerry would be on my thing saying, "God bless Gary. Glad to hear you're okay. Have a great day." He was just I know him a long time. And I was at work today and I went on break, and all of a sudden I saw a flood of text messages I got, and then also a flood of tributes on Facebook. And I posted about him today, and a couple other people, including my friend Eddie Podesta, who did a beautiful tribute to him. And when I heard he passed, my heart just sank, because he was so upbeat, I didn't even know he was feeling bad. So I don't know what transpired since Wednesday when I spoke to him. I spoke to him on Wednesday morning. We're only talking about basically 2.5 days. So I just wanted to let him know that him and his family. I want to give him my deepest heartfelt condolences. Jerry, you're a special guy. I'm going to miss you, bro. And I know you're not suffering anymore, and you're up there with God. I hope you're always a really amazing dude. So I know a lot of you people on Facebook knew Jerry, and so I just want to kind of end the broadcast with him. And I always used to say to him that fly with free bird, like Leonard Skinner used to say. So that's what he's doing now. He's soaring up there like a free bird with God and his angels, and he's looking down on all of us. So rest in peace, Jerry. I love you, brother, and I'll talk to you. I'll see you again sometime. Hopefully later than sooner, but I'll see you. All right? So thanks for listening to that, because I don't want to drag everybody down, but it was something I felt like I had to do.
That was perfect, man. Good little tribute.
Okay, thank you. So listen, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for hoping to hear from you guys. And,
said free bird.
No, we're cool. We're going out to this for Jerry. This is for you. So my boy Sal, Gary Gabagool out. Everyone have a great night. Happy New Year. And we'll talk soon.
We're going to let it play out a little bit.
Thanks.
Look at the mess that he made.
What did he do?
He's eating a bone under there. I couldn't. There we go.
Thanks, brother.
Yeah, we're still live. I'm going to let the song play a little bit.